Thank you, Jay. Good afternoon, and Sandy and I are very excited to be here. I've been doing the whole list running down, and we had to change dates, etc., but we're very excited and get to see a lot of old friends and make new friends here, and I appreciate everything that you're doing. I don't know if anybody here was at PETS this year, but I had the distinct honor of emceeing one day, and I introduced all the VIPs throughout the room from all over the country, etc. But I made a major mistake. I neglected to introduce my wife. Oh. It's a mistake I will never do again. Ladies and gentlemen, my wife, Sandy. Thank goodness we were at the Buena Vista Hotel in Orlando. Thank God we weren't in Vegas. At Caesars or Venetian, it could have become very expensive. Over the years, one of the things that has really bothered me about Rotary is the fact that we're the best kept secret in town. I'll give you an example of how the media neglects us. About 5 years ago, there was a group of students from Weston going to their senior prom in a limo down across 595 in Broward County. And the car in front of them flipped over. Terrible accident. The limo pulled over. These 8 kids jumped out of the limo in their prom dresses, tuxedos, etc., went over and pulled these people out of a car before it burst into flames. Blood all over their dresses, over their tuxedos, etc. Stayed with these kids until the paramedics came, and then they went to the prom. It was early January or May when this happened, and ours being a big club, we do a big deal with scholarships. We have a big scholarship breakfast, invite like 200 people to come there, etc. And we thought it'd be nice to recognize these young adults and present them with a plaque in recognition of the heroic deeds that they had done. So we did it. But we also invited the Sun Sentinel, the Miami Herald, all the TV stations, etc. And guess what? They all came. They all came. Well, we started off the program with presenting these plaques to these 8 young people, and it was terrific. And the press is there, and they're interviewing these kids, and they're talking to them, etc. Well, as soon as we're done with that part of the program, we're starting to give out that particular year $70,000 in college scholarships. And the media is starting to leave. So I ran over to a group of reporters and I said, hey guys, don't leave yet. The best part is yet to come. We've got some great kids going to some great colleges, so going to have some great careers. Why don't you interview a couple of them and see what their take is on the future and where they're going in their future. And a big reporter, a little taller than Jay, looks down at me and he says, hey buddy, scholarships, that's not news. Blood on a prom dress, that's news, and that's what we're here to cover. Well, it's really bothered me since then, but that's how the media looks at everything. Everything has got to be high, I don't know what it is, but it's a terrible thing. So it's bothered me over the years, and I came up with an idea this year that perhaps if we take together what we do together and promote it as we do as a district rather than individual clubs. I know every club does great things, including yours, and I thought I'm going to take some items and I'm going to promote them as a district. So I sent a letter out to Tim and every other president-elect in the 1st of May, and I said, does your club give college scholarships? If so, how much? Well, you'll be interested to know that out of our 48 clubs this year, 27 clubs gave college scholarships. Broward County, Miami-Dade, Monroe County, and Grand Bahama Island. And believe it or not, our 27 clubs this year gave out in excess of $1 million in college scholarships. To me, that's news. I've asked Barbara Goby, and she's recently done it. We sent out a press release because we don't have money for billboards and ads on buses and et cetera, ads in the newspaper, et cetera, because there's no more of that public money available that used to be there where they would give us free space. And we sent out a press release to magazines, TV stations, newspapers all over. about the $1 million in scholarships, because nobody matches what we do collectively. Hopefully we're going to get some press. We just did the Purple Pinky Finger program. I don't know if your club did it or not, because the other clubs that I visited over the past few months, I've asked those clubs to do it, and the majority of our clubs did it this year, even those that weren't involved with an elementary school. And when we get that back in, we're going to promote the Purple Pinky, because I think that's something to talk about. I've got a letter coming out in the next couple of weeks about backpacks. Did your club give backpacks? If so, how many? It's going to be in the thousands. You see somebody gives 150 backpacks in the newspaper. It's a big deal. But we probably gave out thousands. The same thing with dictionaries and right down the line. So my goal this year, and my aim, is to promote what we do collectively as a district. What we all do individually, and I urge every club to do press releases. Find your local newspaper, some small unit, some small magazine that will carry articles about your club. I know the major media has a hard time. They've got so many murders down here in South Florida to cover. They don't have time to talk about any of the good things. This past year we were very lucky as a district, and I know many of you know this already. A woman out in the Cutler Ridge Perrine Club was with her accountant, and she had to move $1 million. Her accountant suggested she give it to the Rotary Foundation. We had a member of our district from Grand Bahama Island just recently donated $250,000 to the Rotary Foundation. Now the reason I'm bringing that up is for two reasons. Number one, on the $1 million, and you've got the ex-foundation chair, he's in retirement for a little while. They won't let him sit too long. But the money, the interest, half of the interest on the $1 million will come back to our district in perpetuity for use in our district grants. The $250,000 was given to our annual fund. So in 3 years, we have $125,000 coming back to our district to use as district grants. So you take the $125,000, the interest on the $1 million, and this year, as an example, we got $68,000 in district grant money. So we'll have an excess of $200,000 to give out in district grants in a few years. And we can do a lot of good with that kind of money. And I urge you, and I know this club supports the foundation in a big way. But when we got the $1 million or the $250,000, I start thinking, you know what? We have such an opportunity that we have never, ever gone out and tried to till the soil, to go out to the community and educate our members and our community to make them aware of the wonderful foundation we have. So I've set up a new committee this year in our district. David is serving on that committee, and we have set an estate planning committee, seminar rather. And in January we're going to have a seminar in Broward County and one here in Miami-Dade County, and we're going to invite accountants, lawyers, financial planners. We're going to start with just members of Rotary and anybody in the allied field, as it's called, to come in and educate them on the benefits of giving money to the Rotary Foundation. We've never done anything like that. We keep going to the chorus and say, Tim, you want to donate to the foundation this year? Well, we want to look out into the future so people will include the Rotary Foundation in their estate planning. We may not get anything this year or next year, but in the future, their money will be tilling the soil, and in the future there'll be money coming into the foundation. It's something brand new, and really surprised me is, in talking with Deborah Lowe, who many of you I'm sure know, nobody is doing that out around the country, and she's so excited that we're going to do it, and she's coming down, and two other people from Evanston are going to come down and put on this program for us. It's January 25th, 26th, and 27th. We're going to do that week, we're going to do seminars, as I said, in each of the two counties, and then we're going to do some fire or oceanside chats, as I like to call it, rather than, because we're down here in South Florida, and invite some people over to learn more about the Rotary Foundation. It's, you know, our foundation is a great thing, best run foundation, and having Robin here, you're all aware of that. But it's the highest rating on Navigator for a foundation. So I hope you will continue to support it and think about it in the future. This year, we are the first district, I should say first zone. You know, Rotary is divided by clubs, areas, districts, and zones. We're part of Zone 34 zones in the world. Last January, we were sitting around in San Diego in our governor's training in I'm going to say cocktail lounge, but it was a hospitality suite. Sounds a little better. And we were talking about things we could do together. And we came up with the idea to do the first zone global grant. Never been done before. And all of the districts, the 19 districts in our zone have come together, and we have done the first global grant. Between us, we came up with $109,000 of the money you've already contributed in every other club in our district to the foundation, and we have done the first global grant. We just provided, it just happened to be 2 weeks ago that we did it, preventative medical treatment for 30,000 men, women, and children in Ghana. We had doctors and dentists and nurses and vaccines and shots. These people had no medical treatment. One of my classmates, Robin just said earlier, we were up in Destin at the Zone Institute last week, and one of my classmates went over to Ghana and wanted to see what was going on and sort of monitor and see what went on. And he told the story. He was in a tent, and they were lined up, young people coming through. And he said 2 particular young men came through, and they had a pain in their stomachs. And they couldn't figure out what it was. And both of them, they kept talking to them and said, how often do you have it? Well, I get a couple times a week. Well, when does it go away? It goes away the day that he goes to a church where they feed him a meal.
Oh my God.
They're hunger pains. We don't know how lucky we are and how fortunate, well, I think we do know how fortunate we are. That's why we're here. We know how lucky we are. How fortunate we are that somebody has that kind of pain and has to live with it. And it was a matter of hunger. So the things we do, and the thing is just fantastic. So anyhow, we are doing the first Zone Global Grant, and I'm happy to say that the class, next year's class is already going to do it, and the one after, so it's spreading like wildfire. So it's something that's going to continue to go on throughout Rotary. One of the things that I do as a Rotarian, and I'm sure many of you do, I wear my pin all the time. I've met some wonderful people, had some wonderful incidents, got into some places I couldn't get in because I had a pin on and they recognized me. But I have to tell you a story. Last December, Sandy and I went on a cruise, a small ship, 200 people on it to the Caribbean. A terrific trip. I'm very happy to be on it. But I wore my pin every day. Everybody knew I was a Rotarian. At the pool, I wore my Rotary shirt one day, etc. And most people didn't know who we were, but by 3-4 days, everybody knew what Rotary was. Then one morning, those of you who cruise, you open up the door in the morning and you pull in the newsletter with what's going on in the world because you're oblivious to what's going on in other places. I pick up the newspaper, and the headline of the newspaper is, Rotary President Indicted for Murder. It gets better. Head of S&M cult. Needless to say, 200 people came up to me that day and said, Larry, did you know him? I not only said I don't know him, and the only people I knew in an S&M are people in the Miami club. Okay. But the moral of the story, and it's true, the president of the Bloomington Hills, Michigan, anybody here from the Detroit area, that is one of the nicest communities in our country. Beautiful, affluent, beautiful area. He murdered his wife. He was head of this vast S&M cult. He was the master. I don't know. Do you know what they do, Tim? I have no idea what they're called.
You gotta talk to Jay.
But it was a true story, and it happened. And I don't know.
They say that any publicity is good publicity.
That's right. That's right. So, but it was quite an incident. But you just meet Sandy and I. So I don't want to go to that story. But it's just a great way to meet people, and so I urge you always to wear your pin. Coming up November 7th, a lot of people don't know this, but Rotary is the only service organization in the world to have a seat in the United Nations. And I'm asking our clubs to have someone speak on peace. We may not always agree with what they do, But I just learned out something Tuesday this week. There is a Rotary Club inside the United Nations, which I found very interesting. Yeah, we have one of our district members actually in the Hollywood Club that works for the United Nations, and she goes back and forth. And I was at the Hollywood Club the other day, and she said, you know, I just found out about it. She said, I've worked there for years and never knew about it. So she says, I'm going to start going to the meetings when I'm there. So I don't know if we can get into it, but it would certainly be nice to do that. And we have a half a dozen of our members going up on November 7th, which is Rotary Day at the United Nations, with a big speakers in the morning, a luncheon, and a program in the afternoon. I know we have a half a dozen of our members going up to participate in it. Earlier in the year, I was urging people to attend, but it's sold out now, so it's going to be quite the event. My signature program, and I'll tell you, what I'm hanging my hat on this year is something that we are, again, the first district to take this on, is my Rotarians for Our Hope program. I mentioned a little bit about it to the board earlier. We don't realize it, but our children are being sexually exploited throughout the world, throughout our country, throughout our state, and right here in our town. Florida is number 3 in the nation for the sexual exploitation of children. Broward County is number 1. Miami-Dade is number 2. We don't realize what's going on out there. It is so bad. There are kids, young men in high school, are paid a bounty and going over and talking to a girl who's a quiet girl, doesn't have a lot of friends, and they have a whole formula that they work. They'll go over and say, hi, how are you? If she smiles and says, I'm great, thank you, or I like your dress, she'll say thank you. But if she turns her head the other way or doesn't smile, he knows he's got a target. And he works on this girl, and he comes back the next day, and 3 days later, and 4 days later. Pretty soon he's got her out on a date, took her to McDonald's, takes her to a movie, becomes her boyfriend, gets involved. And 6 weeks later, he sells her to a pimp. And it's going right here in our community, going right here every day. The hotels have a major problem. I don't know if you've read about it in the newspapers. La Quinta Hotel, and I use that name because I read it many times locally in our paper. They've got a pimp sitting in the lobby with 2 14-year-old girls upstairs in a room, sending the Johns up there. He's paid off the desk man so he can run his business out of there. And then what? Somebody blows a whistle, they arrest them, they take the girls in, they arrest them as prostitutes. I was talking to a police officer before I really got involved, and he said, well, you're talking about the prostitutes. I said, no, I'm talking about a 14-year-old girl. You think she went to college to be a prostitute? How do you think she ended up there? They get these girls, they get involved, they take their picture, give them drugs, and then say, if you don't go out and work for me, I'm going to put this on the internet. I'm going to send these pictures to your family. Then you better get out and do what I want. Now, are we going to stop it? No. Are we going to go out and arrest pimps? No. But there are ways we can do to save the lives of these children. When they come out of when they're released from jail, they walk out in high heels and a short skirt and a tight blouse. We can give them a hope bag with a pair of jeans and a sweatshirt to wear. Give them a phone card. I just came up with a phone number. Been working on it for months, trying to find a phone number that we can give these kids to call where they can get help. Because all these numbers you hear around, yeah, from 8 to 4 somebody answers. But when a girl's in a motel room at 2 o'clock in the morning and the pimp is out and she wants to make a phone call to get help, she needs somebody on the other end to answer that phone. And we finally, BSO, Broward Sheriff's Office, just helped me, and we found a number. We're working with them. I just had a meeting with them about 4 weeks ago, and they're our partner. Family Central, you know Family Central?
Yes.
In Miami-Dade. Barbara Weinstein, who happens to be a Rotarian, and she is CEO of Family Central, and she said, Larry, we want to partner with you. I had a meeting with her. I spent 2.5 hours with her staff a few weeks back, and they want to work with us. And by the way, they have some great speakers to come to your club if you would like that. But there are many organizations, and people are so happy, including the police departments, Broward Sheriff's Office, we haven't talked to anybody here, who are so excited that Rotary is getting involved because we can save lives. Just as an example, Fort Lauderdale Club just put on a program. There was a symposium for middle schools, counselors, and teachers. And the members of their club decided they'd like to put on a program there, and I went to it. There were 30 different organizations that had programs for teenagers. There were counselors and teachers there. We were the only one there in human trafficking. They gave them 50 minutes on Friday afternoon to do a program. We had a room that seated about 40 people. Well, we had 50 minutes. After an hour and a half, they knocked on the door and they said, please, we have other people that want to come in this room. The room was packed. These teachers and these counselors wanted more and more information because there is no program in our schools to educate the children or the teachers or the counselors or their parents. So that's an area you as Rotarians, we as Rotarians can do and create some images, teach these people on how to handle these situations. What we are doing, I'm working with, and I'm doing it up through clubs, but we are working with BSO, and we're going to have a seminar for the hospitality industry after the first of the year, for the hotel industry and the cruising industry, and invite these people. And this is a suggestion of the Broward Sheriff's Office. There is no education for people to be aware of this. I'm sure most of you are not aware that this was going on right under our feet. At the malls, at the schools, it's going on all over the place, and we can make a difference. So I urge you, and I have some signs I'm going to make available to you very shortly because we just got the number, signs that we can put up in schools, in malls, in gas stations, truck stops, and believe it enough, I was even told, put them in churches and in temples. And I said, why? Why would I put it someplace like that? If a kid is there, they're not in trouble. He said, yes, they are. So they're there. They can't talk to their mother. They can't talk to their father. They're afraid to talk to their minister or their rabbi or their school teachers. But if there's a phone number that they see and they're in a safe place, like a church, they'll go use the phone and call that 800 number and look for help. So it's just so many things that we can do as Rotarians, and I urge you and as Rotarians that we can go out and we can save lives right here in our community. We talked earlier about Interact, and I'm so happy that this club is so involved in it. January 30th, we're doing the Interact conference coming up. We're doing RILA again this year. We're doing lots of things. We're rebuilding, as I mentioned to your board, our student exchange program, Rotary Youth Exchange, which is a fantastic program. We have 5 young people that went out this year. We have 6 come in. We'd like to increase it, so if you want to participate in that great program, it's a great opportunity for you. We have the Robbins Fund going again. You know, the Bahamas were just really destroyed. And so a lot of clubs have sent money into the Robbins Fund, which we're going to make available to them. We just sent $38,000 to Nepal, to the governor there for use of Nepal money that our clubs have all sent in, and we're rebuilding the Robbins Fund again for the Bahamian program, and it's something that we can all participate in. I've started something else new this year, a speakers bureau. Mary Beth Casey, who happens to be in the Weston Club, I've asked her to take on the job of assembling speakers that are, if you have a good speaker, non-religious, non-political, and not somebody who's going to come and ask you for money, send it to her, and we posted, I think there's like 20 of them already on DACDB, on our newsletter, and on our website. So there's some great speakers there. Feel free to use that list. Those are all people that agreed like to come to speak at clubs. They're all proven speakers. You're not going to get a dud in the group. And when you have a good speaker, send it in, and we're going to keep adding this thing. We're also, you know, we talked about projects earlier. And what I'm doing also, I have somebody that's assembling a list of potential products that projects that all of our clubs are doing. Everybody wants to know what you're doing, what he's doing, what the Weston Club, what Pompano's doing. Well, there's so many good projects out there that we can learn from and add new things. So we're assembling that, and that will be on the newsletter and on our website. So trying to run it, I don't want to use the term as a business, but do the marketing so we know what's going out throughout the district, and we have all those things available to us to use. Conference, Tim mentioned, November 13th, Club Med. It's a Western theme, very casual. Bring your cowboy boots, cowboy hat, and it's just casual, no jackets or ties required. It's just going to be a laid-back some Rotary Friday afternoon, Saturday morning, Sunday morning. So it starts at lunch on Friday and it ends at breakfast on Sunday morning. So it's just a few days, a lot of fun, and a lot of Rotarians. And I hope that many of you will be able to join, because it'll be a nice laid-back weekend. Oh, by the way, the price includes, it's a package deal, includes all the food and all the beverage, okay, of all kinds that you can drink. I really got a kick out of it when we visited. They have iced tea and Coke and milk and Coors beer, and it's all included in the package. So I hope you'll be able to join it. Yes.
Tim wants to know if they have Irish whiskey.
For him, I'll have it. Okay.
There you, okay.
Okay.
Thank you. You can go now.
I can go now.
Okay. Now he's allowed. Okay. Typically, when I go around, I try and started to do it this way, to look at clubs and judge them and see what they do, how they're coming, what kind of activities, what their participation is, etc. And you know, our theme this year is be a gift to the world. And I found that anybody who's a Rotarian, who comes to these meetings week after week and works on projects, reaches in their pocket and supports a foundation, you don't have to look any further. They're a great club. And you already are a gift to the world, as we've been asked to. You don't have my new banner up here. Oh my God.
We don't have one.
You got him at Assembly. I mean at Pets.
No, they wouldn't give me one.
I see. You know what? Did he pay? Did they pay their dues?
Yep.
I'll get you one. Yeah. I know. But
I know, it's in the mail. It's in the mail.
it's in the mail. But thank you for all you've done. Keep up the great work. Thank you for allowing Sandy and I to join today. This is, you know, being governor, and Robin has been governor, and Ted has been governor. You know, the best part of this thing is the people you meet and what you hear going, and the friends you make. And thank you for allowing us to become friends with you and to be here today. And have a great day.